Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us and the fourth live of Unlike Game Talks. I am Digor Cutie. Today we have Uriel and we have also Gianluca. Uriel, of course, is always with us, but today you see we have a special guest for Helldivers 2. So, in
Yeah.
case this is the first time that you are seeing us, I am Digor Cutie. I am a game designer and creative director in the game industry. I have 16 years of experience. Oh, we already have people join us.
Wow.
Uh, Hi, Vittorio,
Hey there.
and hi, Cola, because Chica Sherry Cola, it's a bit too difficult. So I will say Cola. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for dedicating your time to us. I always appreciate that because I know that time is valuable. So I was saying, just in case there is some people that doesn't know us, as I say, I'm the recruiting creative director, 16 years in the game industry. Most recently, what you're seeing in my background, it's Tower Drive that will be released in April. And in the few months ago, I also have released A Quiet Place.
Okay, so thank you, Diego, for hosting us once again. I'm Uriel Cozzolino. I'm a game and level designer. Currently, I'm working as a teacher in IVO, Accademia Italiana Videogiochi. I'm a board member for EGDA in Italy. And with Gianluca, I work on Dinopath Trail.
Also, call is perfect. Thank you so much for saving my life. And thank you, Vittorio. Perfect timing. Amazing. In case people don't know, Vittorio works in America. We will have him hosting it. He works for Disney. And hi, Adda. Thank you for dedicating your time. And I love the Clefairy slash Ditto. Please go, Gianluca. Introduce
Yeah.
yourself.
And hello, everyone. Thank you, Diego, for having me, and Auriel too, of course. I'm also a teacher in IVE. I teach game design. I actually teach with Uriel. We teach together the game design course within the narrative design course, and I have around 5 years, six maybe, of experience in game design now. I work as either game design consultant or a game designer for medium projects, small projects. And now I've been working with Uriel for almost 4 years now. It feels insane to say, to be honest. Almost 4 years on Dinopath Trail, on which I am the creative director and game designer.
Actually, let's put link of Dinopath Trail in the chat for everyone because it's on Steam. In the meantime, in case people don't know, and Carla tell us our teachers and a wiggly eye. I love that. Adam might be easier. Perfect. Thank you so much for saving me this. Thank you guys because pronunciation of internet surname it's terrible for me and internet nickname. And it's and I am one that has a terrible one. I have a terrible one too. So it's Ojade, which is like Diego but written in reverse. Because I'm basically Voldemort, you know.
I finally understand.
Yes, I had never noticed.
No
I
one
was
does.
wondering.
No one does. Like a lot of people sometimes ask me, "Oh, gee, what it means?" It's just literally Diego written in reverse because I have no fantasy and I am like a 12 years old villain. But like when you have this type of villain, they're like, "Oh yes, I'm Lord of Jade."
Makes sense, but we never noticed, so it actually works.
Yes, I guess it proves that sometimes simple things work. But so what we're talking today? Today we are doing another, because it's the second time, deep dive on Helldivers 2. The first one we did it with Stefano Cozzi, and in case you didn't watch it, please go and watch it because it was actually very interesting, and we managed to create a new terminology for the game industry, which was game as a service on demand. It was very, very interesting. It came out, so it's an interesting topic. And today we go back on Gianluca. Why we go because of Gianluca? Because also Gianluca, like me and Uriel, and sometimes with me and Uriel, played Helldivers 2. And also, hi, Dando Critical. Thank you for being with us. Love the image. It's absolutely amazing. The avatar. Really, really, really cool. Thank you for dedicating your time. And I see more people are joining us. So thank you everyone for joining. Please say hi. Have any question, feel free to interrupt us in any form or way. There is no problem at all. This is a very simple and friendly chit chat. So Helldivers 2, since you are the special guest, Gianluca, I will let you pick the first topic. What do you want? What do you know think is amazing or maybe terrible, or in any case, pick your interest in Helldivers 2?
Okay, so I was actually thinking about what did I like about Helldivers 2. I was thinking about that before actually starting with the stream, because I was trying to recall the last time I played, which was kind of a long time ago now. What actually was the last feeling I was left with?
Yes, Italian designer to the top.
And and I guess that well, actually I had a couple of troubles actually finding something specific, and at the end I actually realized that there is a reason why there was I had some sort of difficulty in just focusing on one part, because with Helldivers I felt that the sum was way more than its parts.
Interesting.
Like, you know that in all games you are to try for cohesion within gameplay, narrative, and etc., all aspects, right? But Helldivers managed, in my opinion at least, to really blend them and tie them all together, all the aspects, and have a very cohesive experience. Like the fact that you really feel like just one of the many soldiers. You don't feel like you are hogging the spotlight or you are the hero. You are just one of many heroic people fighting for democracy, basically,
Our
if I
brothers
remember
and sisters.
correctly. Exactly. And
I love that song. Pizza, mafia,
And-
mandolino, and game design. Fantastic.
yeah, we were trying to expand.
Exactly.
But yeah, the cohesion that there is within all its parts, it was something that really what really left me with when thinking about Helldivers 2. I feel like every single part is really tied to the background narrative, right? To the background theme, which you are one soldier fighting for democracy. The fight is bigger than all of us. We're all doing this together, etc., etc. And I feel like, especially the easy way in which you may die, and there are many ways to die in Helldivers 2, right? You can be shot by other people, right, Diego?
Yeah. That's totally a random example. You know, it never happened.
Exactly. Never happened. Or just like fighting against even a normal bug or a well, normal robot. Okay, I mean the robots are really something else, but still, it really drives the point home of you're just one of many. You can't do this alone. You need other people. You need to call the airstrikes. You need assistance from the many to actually do what you want to do. And this is also tied to how do you liberate planets and etc., etc. And if you don't stop me, if you know me, I will just keep talking. So
No,
Yeah,
don't worry. But
So-
it was. Please go. Oh, yeah.
I find this very, very interesting because I totally agree with you, Gianluca. They actually incorporated the narrative in every single aspect, not only of the gameplay through, as you said, you are not the main protagonist, you're one of the soldier, you're gonna die, and you are not coming back as the same. That's a new Helldiver coming to the field. But not only from the gameplay perspective, but even outside of the game, the news about the game, the way that the community management was managed was through this narrative. They gave news similar to how you would watch a newspaper, read the newspaper, or watch the TV. The new things inside the game, the new content dropped not as something coming from a meta perspective of okay, now you are unlocking new stuff, but you are fighting to actually unlocking that stuff inside the game. You are liberating planet. You are literally allowing Super Earth to be able to build a new equipment. And now you have it inside the game. So every single aspect in and outside of the game put together was held together by the narrative, and that's something super interesting that I've seen just a few games do, and not all of them as well as Helldivers do. So super interesting.
Now, there is actually a lot of points here. And before, we have today a very interesting chat. So I will say, Kola said, group effect nudge. That's an interesting point. It is definitely an interesting point because, yes, that's something that I think it's really important because, as Gianluca and Uri were saying, you're feeling part of this group, but also a unique cog in the machine. You are not the owner of Super Earth. You are not the commander. You are just the meat in the cannon, but you accept that. But at the same time, you're feeling cool about being the meat in the cannon. So group effect for sure, but also in a very unique way because usually group effect is made to make you reach the top of the group. You know, you should want to become powerful in the group. Instead, in Helldivers, you accept to be the cog in the machine. Also, Adam said, I'll keep the Fiorentina stakes. Thank you. This is not EGDA future pro spoiler. Sorry, guys. And also, we have some people join us now, so feel free to join for the question. We have a lot of people today, so thank you for giving us your time. Please join, ask questions, say hello. Adam said, I'm still amazed at the in-game arrow puzzle when activate anything from stratagem to enabling nukes and etc. Yes, I think this is another interesting element, which is it's a nice mini game first. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It's very prone to error, which is amazing because it's very easy to do when you are inside the, big superstar destroyer. But it's very terrible when someone is shooting you and other people are saying, "Oh my God, bugs incoming!" And I have a question for both Uriel and Gianluca and you, the audience. So feel free to write what you think. Which is Gianluca said something very interesting, which is I feel that the sum of the part it's better basically than many games, and this is actually a topic that we never talked before in the previous Helldivers 2 video. So, from a design point of view, both from Muriel, Gianluca, and everyone is watching, from player, designer, whatever you think, why do you think it's that? So, how did Arrowhead manage to get something that create this effect in which the sum of the part is way better than each singular element? Do you have any idea? Did you ever thought about it? In the meantime, I can give you my opinion on it. What you think, if you're thinking, which is first something that I didn't thought about it. So I was thinking that while you were explaining it, and that's why I have my opinion on it, which is I think what really makes the sum of the part of this is the fact that you accept death. And I think this is an incredible element that now I didn't thought about it. So this is literally thinking on the fly. But death it's something that as a game designer, we always have to design. And usually is a bad part to design. Because hey, you die, what do? Do I remove resources? Do I bring you back? Do I recharge the level? What do I do with that? Like how do I manage death? Because death is very difficult for game design because potentially I die and I stop playing. This is one of the most common situations in which you have the controller, oh, I lost, okay, finish gameplay. Not because you hate the game, but just because it's a natural moment to end something because you lost. And so usually game designer, me included, has such difficulty understanding how to end the game. The game doesn't have death, then there is no stakes. The game has too much death, it's frustrating. There are, of course, very cool ideas out of that, which is, Dark Souls, for example, in which death become a loop to keep you in the game and things like that. But now that you let me thought about what is the reason, and is exactly what Adam wrote, which is they transform death into a resource to spend instead of a moment of the gameplay. So when you die, it's just part of the resource. Hey, we have a certain amount of death points. I'm okay to run and suicide myself into exploring. I'm okay to keep the line while you guys run away and save the resources that we got or complete the mission. And I think this is genius. First, I didn't thought about it. And I think also there is another element, which is death is a resource in Helldiver because loot is shared. And I think this is a critical component. Because if I die and we lose everything, then death will not be a resource. Will be, I don't want to die. Instead, once again, I remember many occasions with you, Gianluca, or with Uriel, in which I died, but we completed the mission, we got the resources, I got the X point, everything was shared, and everything was great. And so even if I died maybe multiple times, or I didn't get inside the escaping pod, I don't remember the name now of that thing,
Pelican One.
nothing changed. Sorry?
Pelican One.
Pelican One, exactly, the Pelican One. Nothing changed. And for me, this it's probably one of the points that made everything. That transforming death into a resource, and by being incredibly generous with the resource sharing and in general the positivity of the end of the mission. That's how I think.
Yeah, very interesting. I have something that is similar to your answer. It incorporates some parts of it, at least. So I think they have an extremely solid base for the gameplay. So they did the research, of course. They knew how to create an FPS, and that's kind of necessary to make the game work so well. But on top of that, they added so many emergent aspects inside the gameplay, and we know that usually lots of people tend to like emergent gameplay, but that is working so much better because we as designers know that there are some elements, some situations that works as emotion multipliers. So if something happens, we will have an emotion. If something happens in some specific scenarios, that same emotion response is going to get multiplied. And most of the gameplay while you are playing Helldivers 2 comes in situations where we will have emotion multipliers. So there are other people watching us, and as you said, the stakes are not just for us, but are for the whole team. So we are participating with other people. It's co-op, and as you also said, most of the time you're risking your life. You could die any moment. Death is not so rare inside the game, so you always feel like you are running on the edge. And being so close to the death could work as a multiplier for the emotions. So if I actually managed to get to do what I was thinking, and maybe it was something very complex, I wasn't sure, the emotional response that I will get will be so much greater because I was going to die if I failed. And if I actually fail and I will die, that's still okay because A, I will respawn in a few moments, and B, the grand plan of the things was very cool, and the way I died probably felt comic, or at least we are sharing the moment with all the others. And to put all this together, there is the sense of community that the game was able to build. So I'm thinking, during the time that we were playing Helldivers 2, I was still thinking about Helldivers even when I was not playing. So of course, when I actually was in game, once again, emotional multiplying, I'm finally doing what I've been thinking all day. I'm trying stuff that I was theorizing, and I'm feeling as a part of something bigger. So each even simple action that I'm performing actually feels bigger than what it is.
Now, very interesting. So before going to Gianluca, there's a couple of things. New people join us, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us your time. Please say hi or put your opinion. And also, we have a couple of opinions from the chat. So Victoria said, time is a super valuable resource. It must be taken as a critical component too. It modifies the pace and an encounter. That's absolutely true. Time is the real death in Helldivers 2. The one that can really stop anything. And this is a very interesting point because it's a race against the clock, which naturally brings stakes. Because even if I have 300 death left, if the pelican leaves, the pelican leaves, and I lose everything. So this is very, very, very interesting, and is a great point, which maybe Gianluca then will give us your opinion, and also we have Cola. They add a very other interesting point, which is I think because they have a coherence between every single part of the game. They aren't gameplay parts or even outside of the game, such as marketing, that doesn't make sense in the narrative. Accepting that is something enforced by so many mechanics in the game and outside that makes coherence between GD, game design, and ND, narrative design. Now, this is something that Uriel was saying, which is when I'm outside Helldivers, I think about Helldivers, I watch the meme about Helldivers, I see this narrative. But here's the interesting point for me, which is very interesting what Kola said, and then I will leave Gianluca both give his opinion and answer to the specific point from that. But I just want to add one element, which is very interesting point from Kola, and also very interesting the fact that she talks specifically about narrative and not plot, because that's really where Helldiver is. Helldiver doesn't have a plot in the normal sense. There is no really a story. It's a narrative, a generic narrative of this endless war that Super Hurt will win. But conceptually speaking, this creates so much space for this coherence because a plot is difficult to keep. One of the classic error in narrative is that you do a plot and then you don't have space for adjusting it, fixing it, and you create the famous plot hole. But technically speaking, Helldiver doesn't have plot holes because it doesn't have a plot. It just have a narrative. It just have this simple concept of, hey, go kill shit and help Superhurt. Now, please go, Gianluca. Give us your opinion on everything and also what you're seeing about these two comments.
So okay, so first to give my opinion, I want to say something. So I agree with both of you, both on that side and on the fact that what Uriel was saying that yeah, they had a solid base, but at the same time you had many moments where your emotion were multiplied, etc. You were thinking about the game inside and outside the game. But I think so the first thing I thought of when you said, okay, what do you think this happened? The thing I thought was because they had a very clear vision, and then I started thinking, okay, but what was clear about that vision? And I tried to backtrace it in everything I've said I've seen in the game, and I think that the word is camaraderie. And this ties to the sharing that you said. The debt pool is shared. The resources are shared. Um, Everything feels in Helldivers like we are really a multitude of people doing the same thing, right? And so if they wanted to represent a war, which they basically do in each planet, right? We are always fighting enemies in Ordis. We are an army, and so we're basically fighting a war, an infinite war. What is the thing I want to have in my cooperative game? And that is camaraderie. And whenever you think with this word in mind, and then you think, okay, uh, how can I design each aspect of my game to incorporate camaraderie? I think you end up with a vision in which everything is shared, and I am tied to you just as much you are to me. The mission time, so I tie directly to what Botolone said. I don't remember your name if you said it. I'm sorry.
No worries, Vittorio, but Botolone is okay.
Okay. So time is a super valuable resource, and it's actually the resource that actually manages that. Because of course you can finish up your lives and basically lose anyway. But time is the only thing that while we are sharing, we don't really have control on. It just goes on, and you have to just beat it basically. And this then ties to the fact that we are sharing the deaths, and that's fine because I die. It's easy to die. You are expecting other people to die. You're expecting you will die. You will also die to help your comrade do what? Usually an objective, right? And why would you do the objective? Because if you don't do the objective and you take too much time because you want to play safe, then what happens is that you are learning low on time. And again, you don't have control on time. You have way more control on that than on time. And so, uh, I think that whenever they designed on camaraderie, and then they thought, okay, what we can do to enhance this aspect, they started adding a lot of things, and I think that was the cherry on top. The way they handled that, you basically die and it's fine. Another Helldiver is actually dives into the planet, and it comes back with resources. You have mechanics to share resources with other, and not only resources like the one you pick up, also the refillments. I don't remember how they're called.
Yeah,
The
I understand.
resupplies, the resupplies, right? And also the resupplies. The resupplies play again another pivotal role in making you stick together. Everything is made to make you stick together and play together, and even the efficiency of weapons. Like for example, the normal weapons you have usually, or at least at the beginning, didn't really kill a lot. You needed to be using stratagems basically to actually do a lot of damage. And so, and even some enemy designs are made with the mindset of, we are going to do this together because I alone can't do it.
Hi, Joshua.
The
Thank you
charger,
for joining us.
the charger is one of those. It's you can beat a charger alone. You just need to dodge and shot its back. But if I'm acting as a bait and someone else is shooting it, it's way easier. And you can do this with every other big enemy, let's say. But still, I think that designing with the clear vision of camaraderie, I want to make a game in which my community really feels united toward the goal, and there is no reason to basically be hostile with each other. I think it really makes the game be really valuable when you tie everything together like this.
And this is super interesting because while you were talking, you just made me realize something that I didn't realize until you were saying something, which is still connected to death, but also connected to your concept of camaraderie. Also, other people join us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, dedicating your time. And please say hi and ask question or intervene with your opinion, which is this actually is one of the only few games that has still a certain competitive aspect. Because okay, it's not really competitive, but has a certain competitive aspect, leveling up, getting resources, number of kills. So he has a certain competitive aspect in which when you're, at least for me, when your friends die, I never got angry. In many games, like playing Rainbow Six Siege, if I die, everyone gets angry at me, and if someone else dies, I get angry at them. In Destiny, same. Oh shit, Diego died. Oh my god, fuck, we are ruined. Oh fuck, shit. And even when we finish life, we had so many lives. Maybe I died so many times. Maybe other people died so many times. I don't even have the count on how much people died or things like that, which I don't even care. It's like, okay, we finished life now kind of like the real game begins. And that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I never thought about that, but actually it is a very interesting concept, which is I don't get angry when my comrades dies, which bring camaraderie, because of course if I don't get angry at the people playing with me, I feel this sense of brotherhood or sisterhood or other things. I don't know now. This is just thinking. And
Yeah.
before, please we go.
No, I wanted to add to what you were saying because, as a matter of fact, I found people being angry about others not doing the objective, which is again
Exactly.
tied to time, which you have no control on. Then people actually being angry because you died. I mean, people
Yeah.
die, and also you come back. You have more resources now, and you can also use the pod on which you drop to actually kill other enemies.
Yes,
I
that's an
myself.
opportunity.
I myself have killed myself in the middle of enemies in game, of course, in the middle of enemies to just drop with the pod on top of them because I don't know, I didn't have resources to kill them, especially the big ones, or something similar, or maybe I was out of steam, I was out of bullets, we have no resupply. Fuck it, I'm just gonna die. And that works really well for what they're saying and what they wanted to do, in my opinion.
Very interesting. Adam gave us a very long message and very interesting point. So I will read it just for everyone. Also, because remember that this gets transformed into a podcast. So only not reading will be a problem for the people that are listening later. So Adam said, on one occasion, I was able to play with a 100 plus level player and discover a different end game, late game gameplay, which is basically resource gathering. They join a level 1 mission and just run around gathering anything from points of interest, then they give up the mission and move on. Considering how long it takes to get a resource to unlock new stuff, this feels a bit mechanics. Second pack. I'm still a level 30, so I can only assume that the reward becomes better and higher difficulty. So the question is, finally, if high risk missions are still not enough to unlock everything, would you consider this a design flaw or something that devs might have envisioned when they allowed one level plus player to be reached and plus the amount of total resources you need to unlock everything? Now, fantastic question. Thank you for asking it. From my point of view, this is 100% intentional. This is because resource gathering first is connected to the difficulty of the game, of the mission. So if you join a mission that is easy difficulty, you will not have access to certain resources. And if you join a mission in Helldiver difficulty, you have access to certain type of resource. So even if I just quickly gather resource on level 1, I might gather easier resources and not the most difficult one. So this is clearly a design intention. Why do I think they allowed level 1 plus 100 player to join level 1 players? Because that is something that they did with the enemy life, which is increasing the difficulty of the game doesn't make the enemy have more life. And your weapons, like increasing better weapon, doesn't actually make them stronger. They're not like just stronger version, they are variation. So potentially I, level 1 player, am potentially as good as, hypothetically speaking, Gianluca, 100 level player, at killing things. Now, probably I'm not on the special drops thing. I don't remember the name now, but basically the power ups.
Okay.
But on a DPS concept, I am at the same level of Gianluca. So Gianluca and me are we of the same level. Now Gianluca will be stronger, yes, because we have nukes. We will have, I don't know, stronger the robots things. But I'm not useless. And I think that is an interesting concept because, for example, when I was playing The Division, I got carried for the first 10 level, and I was completely 100% useless. It was a fact. I was just hiding in cover, and my friends were killing everything, and I was leveling up. And when I reached their level, or like 1, 2 level below, I start to become useful. Instead of a diver, I'm useful in any form of way, always. Might be less useful, but still useful. So from my point of view, this is 100% intentional. And it's based on what Gianluca was saying, which is timer is your enemy. So the evolution of the fact that you become faster at completing objective to gather resource is the natural evolution of this game. Because technically speaking, you have 45 minutes, but certain mission can be finished in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just go kill everything, take everything, run away, got on the Pelican, done. And this is part of the experience.
Yeah, this thing about the timer is, and the fact that you can clear a mission in a way less is actually really true. For example, okay, toward the end of my playthrough of Helldivers 2, which for playthrough I mean basically I was running out of steam for wanting to play the game, basically because I had more stuff to do and I wanted to move on, etc. I tend to focus really hard on stuff for small periods and then move on. But toward the end, I was basically playing solo. I was starting mission solo, and I was trying to basically beat the game, beat missions solo. And one thing I noticed is that, well, apart from being extremely hard, the best thing I could do was avoid fightings that I shouldn't have taken, and just to focus the mission on the mission objectives, do them as fast as possible, get onto the Pelican, and bye bye, basically. Which was a different play style, of course, was a totally different game as for feeling and aesthetics, basically. But still, everything was doable in way less time than actually was required. And then I started noticing that when we were playing in a group, instead, the will of the group was many times manifesting and was making us lose time, but not in the sense which we didn't want to continue or we were feeling like we were losing time, but more like when you play together with other people on Helldivers, you feel like you are not in charge unless you really want to be, and you're just helping the other guy with you. And I felt this a lot with you and Uriel. I felt this with randoms, not because I was stronger, because many times I wasn't, but just because I don't know. It's the thing of camaraderie. I really felt like, I mean, another stupid example maybe, the emotes. One of the things you could do was hug your other divers,
Helldivers.
or you could do the sign, the salute, right? I don't know. There were many times in which we were just stopping and doing these kind of things after an objective, like we were all doing the salute, etc. And they were random, so I didn't know them. They didn't know me. It was just the situation the game put us in, made us feel like in some way we were connected, connected on a level that is deeper than just we're just doing the mission. And I think level can do this really well with the fact that that doesn't matter. Nobody cares if you die. And I want to have a question for you, actually, Diego. What do you think that doesn't matter? Yes, it's a resource you can tie to a lot of things. But I was thinking, you said something before, which was they are very generous with sharing resources. Now, I play a lot of cooperative multiplayer games, and they tend to or well, the one I play, let you share completely whatever you got as a resource toward at the end screen, right? So if I talk 100, I don't know, gold coins, now we all have 100 gold coins. But in your opinion, since sharing, in my opinion, is not that different from other games, why do you think that matters so little and it can be used as a resource?
Okay, so I will answer this, and then I will let Uriel answer to call a question because it's very interesting too. So to say what Gianluca said, for me, it's 2 points. First is because if you complete the objective but everyone is dead, you still read the mission. This is the first point. Yes, you don't collect resources, but you get experience point, and you level up, and your completing the mission goes into the general narrative, not plot, of that planet fighting and things like that. So for me, this is already incredible because you failed successfully, the famous meme. Because you failed, everyone dead, but successfully. The mission is technically complete, is going in the right direction. And this for me, it's already very interesting. The second point for which I think this compared to the normal, if I collect 100 gold, then everyone has 100 gold, which you said, which is 100% correct, it feels generous, is because how this is framed. Now, in case someone is watching us and doesn't know exactly how what framing means, it's just how something is presenting. Now, Helldivers doesn't present, for example, like, I don't know, Baldur's Gate, in which we have a chest in the group. You know, you have your chest. And even if you're playing with other people, you put stuff in the chest, out of the chest, and things like that. Helldivers, when I collect the resources, I collected them. Diego collected. And when Uriel collects the resource, Uriel collects them. And Gianluca, same. But then if I die and you take my resources, or if I get into the Pelican and you get to the Pelican, then my resources become everyone's resources and they get multiplied. And this feels generous. So this feels that, like, once again, only one of us can survive and everyone can benefit, which happened multiple times, in which sometimes it was me, sometimes it was Uriel, sometimes it was you, in which everyone was dead. You ran to grab the resource of that person, ran back, and now everyone gets everything. And this is why it makes it generous for me, because basically it tells you that death is relevant as long at least one person gets the job done or gets the resources. And this is what makes it feel generous to me, because basically it's I have my resources, I can randomly explore the map and doing submission or gather things, and by doing that, by doing the egoistic path, I'm actually helping everyone. And then if I make a mistake, you can loot me and still get and I still get the resource. I don't get punished. I actually get rewarded. Now, for you, Uriel, Carl asked, in some way, there is so much agency in Helldivers, like an RPG. Every group has its own plot that is created in a meta way. The absence of a plot created the freedom of be anyone I, player, want to be, sharing the story, under commas, and suffering the consequences of action of the group. A planet blows up, there's loot, and so on.
Yes. So this is exactly correct. And I think the game tries to enforce this so much. in different ways. So basically, during the normal mission itself, all players are free to choose what they want to do. Even us, sometimes we decided to play it a little bit more by role playing. So we were actually saluting each other for Super Earth, for democracy. You filthy traitor, I'm going to shoot you. I'm pretty
Yes, for
sure a
real.
few times we got shot by someone else in the team.
Yes.
So all of this leaves the freedom for players to do this stuff, to decide if they want to try and do every single mission and submission, or just focusing on getting the materials and getting out. Sometimes, especially in the missions where you have to save the scientists, the civilians from Super Earth, I wanted to say every single person, because I was identifying in Super Earth Helldiver. So yeah, those are our brothers and sisters, so we should save them. And Gianluca was like, yes, but I tried. I know that if we can kill like up to 7 of them and the mission will not fail. So I will do just that. And
They are the only survivors on a contaminated planet. They are not safe to bring home. I'm sorry, I'm doing this for Super Earth. They need to die.
okay, so we had a little bit of a disagreement on that.
Utilitarian value.
And we solved that in a very, very democratic way. That was the first one to shoot will win the actual argument. So we have room in the game to do all of this, and this is not this doesn't only happen inside the mission. This happens on a bigger level. So as you were saying in the comment, what you decide to do as a player will have real consequences on the general plot of the game. So sometimes Helldivers gives the players the opportunity to choose. Do you want to save this planet or this other planet? Do you want to save the children from that factory, or do you want to unlock and produce a new kind of stratagem? And it's not just one player that decides what's going to happen, but it's the community as a whole. If the most people goes on one planet, well, that's the planet that's going to survive. The other planet is going to become a black hole now, and that's facts. That's
so
lore,
interesting.
not lore. That's actually a new development in the plot, and the game doesn't shy away from showing you the consequences. Not only in okay, you can no longer access to that map or planet, for example, but the new stratagem that you are going to unlock, it's one or the other. You cannot have both. Your choices will have consequences in the game. And I think the most interesting example of this was when they actually made players choose between children's on First Planet and I think it was like a mine, anti-tank
A mine
mine
that
on
nobody
another
wanted.
planet.
Yes.
And at the start, of course, this was one of those missions that I think it lasted for a week or anyways for some times. So players had the time to actually play the game and decide. At first, everyone was going for the anti-tank mine because, of course, I will get a new stratagem in this case, and I will get absolutely nothing on the other case. But as time was going on forums, on different places, people actually started to write. Okay, but now we are going to save the children. Of course, we are not going to let the future generations of Super Earth die just for this, the Mindskin's weight, etc. And a whole movement started, and players in the game started to actually go and save the children. And in the end, guess what? They saved the children, and that was super cool because Trinity didn't give anything in game. They did not backtrack and said, "Okay, this was cool. You get a reward in game." But right after this happened, Arrowhead made a donation for a real life hospital or
Yes.
charity for children in real life with a very specific value of money that I don't really remember, but it was tied to the game. And I think that was super cool because they found a new interesting way to bring once again the narrative of the game outside the game with real life and in-game consequences that were bigger than just one match. Okay, yes, I choose something for this mission. Who cares? But that will stay. That will go on as a legacy.
That's super interesting because it's basically the concept of a shared hive mind in the community.
Yes.
It's not a classical hive mind in which someone controls everyone, but it's more like a
managed democracy.
Yes, let's
Not
call
just
it that.
kidding.
Now it's very funny because of course we had an argument in the comments in which someone was explaining that they did it for super hurt. Apparently Joshua has to defend himself. Now we kind of got a bit over, but there are a couple of questions, and so I think we will do this couple of questions and we'll close because once again this is free chat, very fun, and thank you for giving your time. So the minimum is answering your question. So Adam says, one could argue that killing your teammate with the hell bombs or orbitals, the big super imprecise ones, is sometimes voluntary. And this is the accuse. And I think it's actually, yes, 100%. Sometimes it's a mistake. And sometimes it's a necessary sacrifice that you make by deciding for someone else. So sometimes it's a mistake. Many times Gianluca launched the bomb and advised me later. Sometimes I just moved and sacrificed Gianluca involuntarily against his will. It just happened. So yes, I think
the job, of course.
Exactly. It's once again. I think this is great because this joke, conceptually speaking, is a joke because once again, death is not a punishing thing. Which I was saying, something that I didn't realize. So that was very interesting for me too. But I think this literally proved that.
Yeah, the thing about punishing in general in the game is that if you think about it, there are very few things that actually punish you, actively punish you. Like I was trying to think of things that I felt like this is really punishing me if I made a mistake. But honestly, the moment you remove the fear of death, there is very little that you can punish me with. Even just using a stratagem in a wrong way, you had still quite a few tries before you were getting toward the point where okay, now we need actually to pay attention to what we're doing. And so the reason the fact that they moved so much punishment also helps with the cooperative part. If it's not a problem you dying, you're not slowing us down, and even when you die or I die, the maximum amount of time we sit out is 15 seconds.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't feel like I'm getting really punished. Think about Vermintide, Dark Tides, or games that are highly cooperative and require 4 people to be there to actually win, or things get really difficult for everybody involved. Usually, if you die, you will be waiting, I don't know, 5 minutes even to respawn, and those 3 people remaining will be fighting with one less person on the team, and they will really feel the difference. On Helldivers, that's not really true. And it's also the fact that you can avoid fights. There are utilities, things you can get inside the game to see where enemies are. You can spot them from afar. If you remember, usually I run with the perk that let me saw groups of mobs, and I was telling you, yeah, there are mobs up ahead. Let's go this other road. And I was also using them to split off and then come back. And so all these things actually create an environment in which it's really hard to get mad at other people.
And I think there is something very interesting on what you were saying and what Adam said. And then I will pass to another question, but just because something very interesting came out when you were saying, which is Adam said the big, super imprecise one. And that's something, once again, something that I noticed. That's why I love this talk, because it came out also a point for me, which is by being imprecise on purpose. Okay, many of the stratagems are imprecise. They don't tell you where the bomb goes to be, or they bounce in an expected way. I'm removing the fault from the player. Okay, because if I'm super precise and I bomb you, it's my fault. But if I threw the nuke and the nuke just drops wrongly, it's still partially my fault, but partially. And this is very interesting because it will happen to me, but it will happen to you, it will happen to Uriel, it will happen to everyone.
Yes, it will also happen more often if you place a mortar near the objective.
Yeah, of course. That's kind of true. 100%.
But mortars don't only kill you; they also kill a lot of bugs. So
exactly.
win.
And they also kill, and they also appreciated by democracy.
Exactly.
I know that.
And it's really Diego shooting the mortar? No. So see,
exactly.
Diego has no fault.
Yeah,
I never fault. I remember that my percentage on precision in Helldivers is usually 23%. But I shoot so many bullets because I have the endless bullet gun that I shoot 3,000 bullets, but only 20% hit something. That's a strategy.
Yes.
That's a 1% strategy. Now, Vittorio or Bottolone was asking a big question. So, Digo's point is really interesting. I would add taking advantage or disadvantage from a death also depends on how deep the strategy is. I'll give you an example. On Call of Duty Rebirth map, if you get knocked down, you still have a chance to be revived. Often those who know the respawn timers will choose for themselves or the comrades for them whether they let go the start to respawn the timer as soon as possible or stay on the ground and wait to be revived. Second part. Do I waste timing, wait for my companion to revive me and not lose all my equipment, or do I let go losing everything but starting the timer immediately by having a second chance? However, these are dynamics rather than the mechanics, almost consequences of agency. This is to say that players can create invaluable strategy out. Absolutely. But I think that this in COD is 100% true. What is interesting is what Gianluca was saying before, which is in Helldiver, death it's almost rewarding because you respawn and you can kill something and you respawn with new resources. So I finish my big grenade launcher. I can become more aggressive in fighting to die and respawn with my new grenade launcher with a lot of bullets. This is very interesting. I think it's this once again death is a resource concept because you said it yourself, Vittorio, in which I have to choose to lose all my equipment or not. Divers is sometimes like I literally kill myself to get back my equipment because I don't have the resources to doing it.
I remember, especially on lower levels, in the against the insects, we had to close their nest, and it was like the crater, and there were like 8, 9, 10 holes that we had to close, and you can only close those through big impacts from above or through grenades. But you only get, I think, a couple of grenades. I don't remember, 2, 4. Anyways, limited amount. More than once, if I didn't have stratagems ready, I counted my death as plus 1 grenade. So okay, I get 3 grenades from my equipment. I will close 3 holes. I will die. I will fall on a 4th hole, and now I have 3 more. So I've got 7 instead of 3. And it was because the death both resetted the amount of stuff that I had at my disposal and gave me 1 more hit to close something.
That is super, super interesting.
One thing that Vittorio made me think of is that the situation he brought up is actually really common, for example, in competitive shooter games, right? If you play Overwatch, if you play Marvel Rivals, you know that, for example, if most of your team dies in a team fight and you're the only one left alive, and you're in a tricky situation, it's better if you just die and reset with the others than just try to get out of the situation and then die when everybody else is respawned. And yeah, in those situations, you have a lot of strategic value in the action you can do, either trying to save you off by running or letting go and just dying and respawning and blah, blah, blah. But with Helldivers, but that is because there is punishment involved. There is real punishment that is basically blocking you from actually winning. If I lose time here, and I have a timer also in these games, maybe the next team fight we can do without staggering, which is basically going one by one or not all together, is going to be in 30 seconds. Out of 4 minutes, 30 seconds are a bunch. I don't want to lose those 30 seconds. I need to think of my options very carefully, and I need to take the best strategic solution in that case. In Helldivers, that situation arises only when you have, I don't know, 5 deaths left, and you start with something like 15 or 20. I don't remember now. I think
you can have
15 was
20 if you have certain power-ups.
yeah. So again, it's a bunch
It's
of
a
times
lot.
you can die, and also, if I remember correctly, you get 1 each minute that passes, right?
Yes,
Because there is a refresh.
I think the
when they
last
finish.
life will keep resetting
Oh, only
Exactly.
the
on a
last one?
certain.
Yeah, it's only
I
the last when
yes.
you finish. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
once
been
again,
quite a while.
it's 100% correct.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I think this is something. I think this is the key that we found today about Helldivers. But there's still more that we can do. And so, if you like it, let me know in the comments and on LinkedIn or YouTube or Spotify. This is the free place which you can find this, and Twitch, of course. Because we can do a third one. Now, just to wrap up, because we have 5 minutes left for the last question. Adam said, I remember they justified the weapon nerf in game by saying it was too requested. So, in order to allow for everyone to have it, they reduced the magazine size so every soldier could keep the fight on with the same amount of resources. It blew my mind and made me angry because my PC wasn't able to do Helldiver 2. Yes, this is something that Carla was saying before, that everything is kind of packed into this narrative and they always try to find excuses to do that. Now, Helldivers actually, and we discussed that last time on Helldivers, so I would not go in deep. Please go and check the video. Had a lot of problem with nerfs because they took the wrong approach, which is nerfing instead of powering up, which is the wrong type of approach. But still interesting that they find an excuse. Chica said, this is super interesting on how the game is role played outside the game session. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I think it's amazing. And thank you, someone joined us for the end. So you joined us for the last few minutes, but thank you for joining us. And if you want to say hi, is more welcome. Also, Carla said, Joshua is enforced in his psychopathy by Diego. This is not good. Oh, I'm a troll. You can ask Gianluca, you can ask Uriel. I'm 100% a troll in this type of games. I found troll ways that no one finds. I have found a troll way in Destiny 2 that people was mind blown when I discovered it, and they had no idea. And also, I love automatic things. That's something that Uriel knows. I always break games by creating self-killing strategies that allow my shitty ability in FPS to be survived by break mechanics, basically. So I'm terrible at aiming, so I found other way to fix that by breaking game mechanics.
Auto aim, aerial effect, chain
reaction, everything to not shoot because I'm terrible at it. Last 2 points. It's interesting how the hive mind it is incorporated by single player. I die and respawn as a different soldier. It is a little part of the hive mind of the community. I think it's super interesting. Once again, I wasn't thinking about that other than tonight, and that's why it's super interesting. Because actually they incorporated that so much that you're expected to die multiple times in the tutorial and then joke about the fact that you are the best soldier that completed the tutorial while you probably died so many times. And that's why it's actually a part that I remember laughing so much when I was doing the tutorial. I died like 5 times and you are a natural talent soldier. You are the best one. Now go and fight. I was like, I died 5 times. I'm like terrible.
No, the other you died. This is the only one that survived.
So yeah, that's the best. So I think absolutely. I think this is actually, I think today we uncover a really skeleton key to say, so to speak, of Helldivers, which is death management. This evening, I don't know how to write in English, but don't worry, that's okay. I made mistakes too when I talk, don't worry. I hope to read the report title one of this day, definitely another one I'd like to discuss. Yes, please, thank you for suggesting. And we finish. So we concluded. So thank you, everyone. Today we had a lot of people join us. So thank you. And thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for interact with us. Thank you for asking questions, giving us your opinion. That's what I want to see in this type of event. The game that I absolutely don't troll. Now that me and Joshua, I think we are akin souls on this topic. And thank you. We will be back next Tuesday on another game. We don't know yet which one. It's something that me and will decide. It might be, will definitely not be Helldivers because we usually at least give one in the middle. We hope that we'll see you and participate next time too. And thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. See ya.